everyone. So this theory is based on a rumor that was going around at one point that they were going to make Adrien out to be like a Centi monster this whole time, and when I heard that, I'm like, I gotta put my points here to say why I strongly believe that is not going to be the case. But anyway, just in case you wanted to hear why I thought that's not going to be the case, I'm making this video here, and I have a fanfic that's going to coincide with this. So just a warning, just something kind of to bring it up type of thing. But anyway, I realize now that someone had misinterpreted it over the span of this rumor going around. So, but anyway, I wrote this beforehand, so I wanted to share it. Anyway, on with the story. I have ADHD, so I might get sidetracked. I will try my best not to, though. Anyway, let's go on here. Well, I strongly believe that Adrien is not a Centi monster. So this is when I wrote it and all that. If you want to pause, and you can read that if you want to. Alright. I like to guess how long these take me to read now, so I have my guess time there. And how long it actually took me to read. If you want to read this part here, go ahead. Alright, pause if you need more time. Alright, so my abbreviations, SM is Shadow Moth, and HM is Hawk Moth in this one. So, anyway. Why I strongly believe that Adrien is not a Centi monster. Alright, my first point here. Centi monsters don't have their own opinions or thoughts and can't talk on their own, which I had completely forgot about till I was rereading this. So I'm glad I reminded myself about that. Now to prove my point on this, Adrien has his own opinions and can talk without a split screen to get meta with it, which shows split screen, which shows he's being controlled by Shadow Moth. Furthermore, if he was a Centi monster, Shadow Moth would have him falling for either Chloe or possibly even Kagami. I feel like if he was a Centi monster, we wouldn't see him fall for Mari and Ladybug. Alright. And for those of you who want to nitpick these points, now I'm doing this voiceover outside, so if you hear background noises or wind or whatever, that is why. Oh, are we calling for rain tonight? Got sidetracked here. Yeah, rain possible this evening. Alright. Anyway, sorry, got sidetracked. And for those of you who want to nitpick these points, shh, dog. Our neighbors have a very chatty, small dog. Anyway. Alright, again, trying to focus, but ADHD makes it hard. Alright. And for those of you who want to nitpick these points by saying that Gabriel has influenced a lot of Adrien's opinions and thoughts over the years, being that he's Adrien's father and did create Adrien, I don't think he created him as a Centi monster, just the normal way. Also, let me remind you, Gabriel hasn't been using the Peacock Miraculous the whole time. He only started using it in like seasons 2 and 3. Second point I want to make is that maybe Emily created it. Now, you might think maybe Emily created Adrien as a Centi monster, and for those of you who want to nitpick those points, I remind you Centi monsters have to be controlled by the person who created them, and in case you haven't noticed, Emily has been in a miraculous coma for the past few years now. I think that's what it is. They never ever say if she's actually, like, passed on or she's in a coma, but this is a kid's show, so I'm just gonna say she's in a coma. But anyway, on with the story, or on with the theory. Where was I? And has been in a miraculous coma for a few years now, so she can't control Adrien for obvious reasons. The third point I want to make is, if Adrien was a Centi monster controlled by Gabriel, I'm certain Hawkmoth-Shadow Moth would have taken Adrien's Miraculous by now. And for those of you who want to nitpick that and say that maybe So you might say that it might be part of a big plan to have Adrien get Ladybug's Miraculous. And to that I say, sure, Hawkmoth has his smarts, but I don't think he's that smart to think of that long of a plan to have, like, have Adrien be a Centi monster and keep his Miraculous so that he can gain the trust of Ladybug in order to get Ladybug's Miraculous for Hawkmoth. Yeah, I don't think he would have thought that far ahead. But anyway. Yeah, sure, Hawkmoth is smart, but not that smart. Sorry, not sorry. He's a villain after all. Alright. And my fourth point. Why would they set him up to be Mari's love interest if he was just going to be a Centi monster this whole time? And for those of you who want to nitpick these points, you may be thinking the creators had used Adrien being a Centi monster as a last-minute plot line. And my response to that is, this is a kid's show. It's one thing for that kind of thing to happen in a show made for older viewers, but a whole other thing for that to happen be a plot twist in a kid's show. Also, why would they make us fall in love with these characters if one of them was just going to be a Centi monster? The fifth point I want to make is, the reason I think it was leaked that Adrien and Felix are Centi monsters is because Felix has been a Centi monster and was originally going to be Adrien's duplicate, referencing the fact that, in case you've been living under a rock and are unaware of this fact, Felix was originally going to be who we now know as Adrien, but with Felix's personality, which the creators then scrapped at some point. They didn't want the male lead to be unlikable. I think that's the reason. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Now we have Adrien as that character, and they made the right choice, in my opinion, to scrap that personality character. As much as I love the enemies to daters, that was a good idea what they did with that, in my opinion, anyway. The sixth and final point I want to make is more of a theory on how the episode may go. I think somehow Natalie will be the one who finds out. Whoops, there's a couple more spaces than there needs to be in that sentence. I think somehow Natalie will find out Ladybug's weakness is Adrien aggressed. She will then tell Gabriel that info, and together the two will figure out that they can use Felix, who is already a Centi monster, made to look like Adrien, and have him get Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous. But what they don't know is Cat Noir is Adrien, and Cat Noir will then reveal to Ladybug that he knows that's a Centi monster, allowing Ladybug to put the pieces together and figure out who Cat Noir is. Sorry. The two will then defeat the Centi monster, and Adrien will wonder where Felix went a little later. At this point, Gabriel will reveal that Felix was a Centi monster this whole time. The episode will end with them not knowing that Adrien, with Gabriel not knowing Adrien is Cat Noir, but I plan on writing a fanfic that ends with everyone knowing, kind of thing, because that's one thing that annoys me about this show, is the reveal, and then, so they have a reveal episode, and then by the end of the episode, they don't know who each other are. Huh? That's a really annoying thing about this show, I find. Yeah, because that's one thing that really annoys me about the show. So that's my theory. I hope you enjoyed it. And when I said the following line, and for those of you who want to nitpick these points, I don't mean that in a bad way. I've been that fan that's like, hold up, if that's this way, doesn't that mean this? Or if you're saying that negates this point. So knowing that going in, I wanted to make sure I had all my bases covered, so to speak. Like, if I were a fan, I'd be questioning, like, okay, well, if you're saying that means this, or that negates this point, or da-da-da-da-da. So that's why I wanted to point that out. Alright, so the end. Hope you enjoyed this story. What inspired the fanfic? I'd heard a rumor online that they were going to make Adrien turn out to be a Centi monster this whole time. And to that I was like, they can't be doing that. This is a kid's show. They can't make us fall in love with the character and then snap their fingers and suddenly the character is non-existent. I mean, I love a good twist you don't see coming, but that's taking it a little too far for a kid's show. Now, Felix, on the other hand, yeah, I could believe him being a Centi monster, but not Adrien. That being said, this rumor inspired me to make a fanfic, so stay tuned for that fanfic titled Stop, That's a Centi Monster. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Edit and final spell check here. Let me correct this. July 24th at 6:30 p.m. p.m. All right. So I hope you enjoyed, and comment, like, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you made it to the end, comment either a ladybug or cat emoji so I know you've watched the entire thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.